Hello, everybody. It's Fred Miller with the Khalil Jameson Consulting Firm. We're a management consulting firm. Firm's been around for 54 years, and Judith and I have been OD consultants each for 50 years. So it's been a wonderful journey. We continue to learn, and we want to share some of our most recent learnings.
It's great to be with you all. And one of the things we wanted to share with you today, we've just written a new book called The Power of Agency, Cultivating Autonomy, Authority, and Leadership in Every Role. It'll be out in November by Barrett Kohler. And one of the things we wanted to share with you today is really some of the steps, the actions that are necessary to move an organization, to transform an organization, to have greater agency, enabling everyone to take leadership in their role. So I'm just going to share quickly a slide so that we can kind of see how that works. So these are the 10 steps to unleash agency. We are not going to go through all the steps. You can read a lot more about each step in depth in our book. But Fred and I are going to walk through a few of the kind of high points in terms of the model itself. So Fred, I'll turn it to you for a moment.
If you look at the right-hand side of the slide, it talks about systemic OD intervention, organization development intervention. This is a system-wide intervention. This is a plan change, although plan is used loosely here because there's a lot of spontaneity, there's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of innovation that happens during the course of implementing an OD intervention, but it's really a strategy for getting the people in the organization involved and the organization moving to a level of betterment that exceeds where they are today.
And in many ways, for those of you familiar with dialogic OD, this is really about knowing that there's wisdom in the system and getting people to share their thinking, engaging people in the process. So we need the senior leaders. So the first 3 steps are really involved with senior leaders being willing to take on a major change. But we also know that one of the important things, if we're going to identify new narratives and new mindsets in the organization, is to really hear from people, what is it going to take to unleash agency for them? What does that even mean for people in terms of being able to take greater leadership and decision-making within their roles? We know people want that, right? We know people want to have a greater voice. People want to do meaningful work. What the dialogic OD process does is really enable people to bring that to the organization, and they're thinking about that.
As Judith said, as we move through this betterment process for the organization, we know that the answers to many of the challenges in the organization already exist in the organization. People have wisdom in the organization, people have points of view, people have knowledge to make the organization even better. So the process really gets people unleashed in the organization to contribute and to bring their thinking and to bring their wisdom and to engage and learn from one another so that we have a better solution than we would have had if just a few people were involved.
But one of the things that we know is necessary for that is creating the interaction safety. In fact, we wrote a book about that called Safe Enough to Soar. But it's really creating the safety so people can speak up. You know, we know in many organizations, some individuals had agency. Some individuals had felt the freedom, the empowerment, the ways in which they could bring their voice to the organization. But for many, that's not the case. And so part of this is really creating the interaction safety so people can share their ways to make the organization better. One of the challenges, of course, is that leaders need to think differently, and leaders need to be willing to give up some control and trust in their people. And so one of the things that we know for that interaction safety to happen, to people to be able to bring their thinking and their wisdom, is really creating that ability for people to feel safe enough to share their ideas, not only their fully baked ideas, but also their half-baked ideas. And that's part of what interaction safety will bring as you're thinking about the change process.
In our organizations, we've gotten really good at the up and down power, control, leadership of the organization. What we haven't gotten good at is working across the organization. And so we see this process as also assisting that. So it's really about leaders encouraging people to act. No matter where you are, it's like a leader in every chair. It's no matter where you are and who you are in the organization, you need to have agency related to the work that you're responsible for and agency to challenge things in the organization that you think can be better. Many people in our organizations feel smothered by the controls, the limits, no, you can't do that. And getting clear about what you can do will unleash the organization. And that's what we see agency bringing to the table. managers moving from checkers to removing the barriers to that agency, and individuals and teams taking on more decision-making and being able to act. Again, as I said before, speed is going to be important. How do we create the situation where people have the speed to do what they need to do, given the expertise that they have?
You know, it's interesting. There's in two of our clients, I was thinking about how these things show up. So in one organization that was a sales organization and a marketing organization, the CEO was making decisions about what color an ad should be. So they were bumping up decisions all the way to the top. And in another organization, people were afraid to make a decision because they were afraid that they would get blamed. This changes when we have agency. In other words, people at the decision level that they can make the decision are doing those decision making and not waiting for some leader to say yes or no on a color or yes or no on a decision that I can make in my own realm. And I think that's part of what the transformation is for us in terms of really moving to and unleashing greater agency. People have these ideas, as Fred said, there are knowledge workers who really want to bring their knowledge. But the problem is the organization is limiting them or smothering them and not allowing you to. So we hope you're interested in this idea of agency. And we'll check out our book. There's a code in the lower left-hand corner. You can actually go right to Amazon and order it. And we hope and we'd love to hear about your experiences as you move to greater agency for yourself and for the people that you serve and interact with. Thank you so much.
Thank you.